been doing it for like 5 years now. So put your hands together for Reva.
My daughter Julia and I used to dance around the house belting out songs to movie musicals. The Wizard of Oz, The Little Mermaid, Funny Girl. And she would pretend to be Ariel or Dorothy or even Fanny Brice. And she was very convincing. Well, it was 1990 January, and Julia is 2 years old. We are in England. We're returning from a 3-week trip to see my then husband's family, which was wonderful because I loved getting out of Chicago in the wintertime because I hate the cold weather. And we had a great time with his family. So we're on the way, the three of us, back to Heathrow Airport to come back to Chicago. And we hear on the BBC radio that there's a terror threat at Heathrow Airport, and that terror threat is red, the highest level. So as if traveling internationally with a toddler isn't stressful enough, it was pretty bad. Anyway, we get to Heathrow Airport, we walk in, and it's chaos. All the way from all the agent desks, all the way to the back wall where the doors were, it's packed with people like sardines shoulder to shoulder. The lines don't even seem to be moving, there don't even seem to be lines. Well, we find ourselves in this group, because it was British Airways, where we want to go. And I hate crowds. I really fucking hate crowds. They make me a nervous wreck. So I just think to myself, okay, it's okay. You're gonna be home soon. Stay in your little bubble. Don't look at anyone, don't talk to anybody. You got this, you're gonna be okay. I glance down at Julia. I don't see her. So I go down to the ground, I drop to the floor, I look around. I just see a sea of legs and luggage. I don't see my daughter. Julia! 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 Were you holding her hand? I was holding her hand? I wasn't holding her hand. I had the car seat. Oh my God, she's missing. Oh my God, everybody look around. There's a kid missing. There's a kid missing. Look around. And nobody's doing anything. They're just kind of shying away, moving away from me. I rush over and I push my way to the back wall where there's this British Bobby standing near the door. He really looks more like a prop than a cop. You know, he's got like this tall, goofy looking hat. I'm like, my daughter is missing. She's only 2. Please help, find her. And he's like, right. Okay then. When did you last see your daughter? Oh my God, just a few minutes ago. Hurry, she's only 2, hurry. Right. Can you give me a description of your daughter, please? Right, okay. Okay, her name's Julia. She's this tall. She's wearing all purple. She has a Little Mermaid backpack. She's holding her teddy. Please hurry. Right, he's writing it all down. Her hair color, please. Oh my God. Her hair is brown. Hurry, please. She's only 2. Right-o. He takes out his toy radio. He's like, right, looks like we've got a missing child. Julia, 2 years old. She's wearing all purple. She's got brown hair. She's got a teddy, and she's got a Little Mermaid rucksack. And then he tells me, stay nearby. Right-o, stay nearby. Oh my God. Meanwhile, my then husband, who is from the land of keep calm and carry on, is handling it in his own way. He's like, hello, pardon me, excuse me. Did you happen to see a small child wandering about? No? Oh, right, so sorry to interrupt. Have a nice flight, cheerio. Like, what the hell is that supposed to do? So I go outside of the ropes, outside the area where all those people are, and they become my congregation. And I am at the pulpit. And I start screaming. I'm screaming her name because I think she'll hear Mommy's voice and she'll come out of the crowd. Julia! 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 She doesn't come to me. So then I just start screaming at the crowd. I'm screaming, help me! Find her! Help me find her! Screaming and screaming. I am losing my shit. I'm crying. I'm screaming. I'm shaking. But my congregation, they seem unimpressed. They're looking around a little, but not too much. In fact, they look a little embarrassed. But like, do I care? I don't care, because I have a slideshow going on in my head of what's happening to my daughter right now. It's close-ups. First her hand gets grabbed and she gets yanked out of the door. And then her little feet are stepping onto a plane and she gets pushed. She's going to Afghanistan. Then she's being pushed into a car and the door slamming closed. Oh my God, these images are fast and furious and relentless. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. Finally, 15 minutes goes by. 15 agonizing, terrifying minutes. At this point, my then husband and I are flanking the prop cop. We start to hear something on his radio, some squawking on the radio. And he says to us, I think we may have found your Julia. And I said, let's go! And so we take off down this long hallway, and there she is, this tiny great figure with brown hair, and she's got her hands on her hips, and she's looking up defiantly at this British Bobby who is looking down at her. He looks confused. It looks like a cop toddler showdown. We run to her. I smother her with kisses and tears and hugs. Oh my God. And I'm thanking these cops profusely. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And the one that found her says to me, you know, we weren't sure it was Julia because she said her name was Dorothy and she was from Kansas. I tried hugging these cops, but they weren't huggers. So it's over, right? It's over. Everything's okay. I have my daughter. I'm holding her. I'm not letting her go. Ever. I'm not going to let her go. And I have to just be okay again, right? Like I have to just switch gears. But you know, it's kind of like being on the 100th floor of a big building. You got to get to the ground floor, but it doesn't happen like that. It's like emotional whiplash. So I just say to myself, well, you know what? I can do it. If she can pretend to be Dorothy, I can pretend to be normal. So we finally make our way to the gate. And I'm thinking, I'm leaving it all behind us. It's all going to be good, fresh start, right? But no. Because the congregation is at the gate, they're on my plane. All of those eyes looking at me, judging me. Don't look at anyone. Don't talk to anyone. Don't look at anyone. Don't talk to anyone. I hate myself. I'm the worst mother in the whole wide world. I mean, I have just lost a 2-year-old child at a foreign city airport during a red terror alert. And then I cause an international scene in front of hundreds of people. I'm the worst. I hate myself. All around the plane, Julia's sleeping peacefully next to me, and I have 8 hours to think about what just happened. Am I really a terrible mother? No, I'm not. I just had a lapse. And my then husband, he had a lapse too. I think that means I had half a lapse. Well, this will never happen again because Julia is going to be on a tether from now on until she's 18. She's going to be close. And in terms of the scene I caused, desperate mothers do desperate things. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
And if that situation ever happened again or anything like that, I would do it again louder than a mom. I'm not done. Oh, I would do it again. By the end of the flight, I'm forgiving myself. I'm starting to forgive myself. And all that embarrassment is turning to gratitude. I'm so grateful. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. So now we're in the taxi on the way home. And we get there and we get out of the car and it's miserable. It's raining and snowy and blowing and sleeting and the worst possible weather. But it's okay because I keep thinking about the wisdom of Dorothy's words. There's no place like home.
I have to repeat a song or two. We'll straighten them out. My oldest daughter is named Dorothy. And my house is from Kansas City, not Kansas. So everyone assumes that I have this like great Wizard of Oz love. But she's named after my mom's best friend is Canadian, and her best friend's name is Dot, and Dot was truly like the funniest, like just driest witted person. And so I wanted to name my child that just so she would be cool. And so, so I have a Dorothy, but I don't know if you've ever seen a person who has put their child on a leash, and if you've decided to judge them. But if you have ever turned for a half a second in a Target and not seen your child, you will never judge a person who puts their kid on a leash, especially a little boy, because man, they're fast. Okay, our next storyteller, we're so excited that she's here, Christine Carr. She is the founder of, I want to get this right, Monkey Mind Chicago. It is a space for using mindfulness meditation to create your best life. And she does weekly sunrise meditations in Edgewater, and she has workshops to follow that you can follow this winter. Okay? So it's exciting. Please welcome to the stage, Christine Carr.
Wow, that's a hard act to follow. No stand, no whole thing, but I'm going to do my best. My earliest childhood memory is waking up in my dad's arms. He's carrying me down the street with my little suitcase because I was going to be staying at my neighbor's house while my mom was in the hospital. My dad was tall and handsome, loud and forceful. His voice was low, and he had a New York accent. He was at once punishing and protecting. It was a relationship filled with contradictions. It was the late 60s and lots was happening in the world, so he and my mom dealt with it by drinking martinis and listening to Frank Sinatra, the Beatles, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young on repeat. My brothers and I knew it was in our best interest to stay out of the way after they had had a few cocktails, but that was nearly impossible to do living in a small house. On other nights, I can remember trying to be extra quiet before bedtime and try to stay up a little later. My dad would say, bedtime, and I'd say, next commercial? And then I would snuggle up next to his easy chair, just out of sight, so that I could watch the end of MASH. In 2017, I found myself driving to check on my dad at his Lake of the Ozarks home. He was nearing 80 by then, and this was the third attempt to have the, you can't live here anymore, it's not safe conversation. Built by the Union Electric Company in St. Louis in 1929, Lake of the Ozarks was once one of the largest man-made lakes in the world. Because it's a dammed off mountain range and it has a serpentine shape, it's very beautiful, but it's next to impossible to get to when your dad has fallen and you can't get up. My dad had retired there with my stepmother, Sarah, who had passed away a few years earlier. My dad was an East Coast liberal living in a red state. He'd gained some notoriety in the area, frequently being published in the local newspaper's editorial section. He felt it was his civic duty to take the other side, and he never shied away from an argument. He was so good. It was so much fun. I was proud of my dad for creating a life at the lake and keeping it together even after Sarah passed away. It was hard to tell him that he couldn't live there anymore. He had a life there, and somewhere we both knew that moving away was probably going to be the end of his next chapter. When I arrived, he was asleep in his easy chair with a New York Times crossword puzzle on his lap. There were books, baseball cards, and lots of coffee cake crumbs surrounding him. He had mellowed a lot by then, and looking back, I'm so grateful that he was mentally sharp until the very end. I decided to tidy up and do some chores because I like to clean when I'm stressed. And while I was vacuuming, I noticed a bulletin board at the top of the stairs that hadn't been there before. I moved the board and found a suspiciously head-shaped hole in the drywall. My dad had fallen up the stairs so hard that he had hit his head and made a hole in the wall. It was really time to move. Dad, we need to get you moved to a safer place. I saw the hole in the drywall at the top of the stairs. In his loudest, booming voice, he said, Christine, what's going to happen to all my things? Who will take care of the neighborhood association? My voice was shaking, and I said, damn it, Dad, you're concerned with all the wrong things. I was so exhausted from driving all day and trying to rationalize with someone who didn't want to hear what I said, So I stepped outside to call my brother for some support. Frank, I'm trying so hard to get Dad to agree with me. Why is Dad such a dick? Oh, honey, don't you remember? He's always been a dick. Eventually, with the help of friends and doctors, we were able to start the process of moving him back to Chicago. I was lucky enough to get my dad into an assisted living apartment in my neighborhood called the Breakers. I knew that it would be stressful, and I wanted as his main caregiver, and I wanted to be sure that I could get to him in a short amount of time. It was a big adjustment for him going from a single-family home at the lake to a high-rise apartment building. The elevators were his biggest challenge. They were too slow and too crowded. He would get very frustrated, and I'm guessing he wasn't the only one, because there were signs in the elevator that said, "Patience is a virtue, and kindness is a choice." My dad had his portable oxygen tank, and he would sit on the bench waiting for, steam coming out of his ears, waiting and waiting for the elevator to come. And he was not used to waiting, and he was not good at it. My dad was an on-time person. If he said he was gonna eat at 6 o'clock, we ate at 6 o'clock. To say my dad was complicated would be incorrect. He was simple. He liked to do things his way. He felt like, I like it, everybody else should like it too, and he was not afraid to tell you. But he was also charming, really funny, and could string swear words together like nobody's business. Nobody at the Breakers knew who he had been to my brothers and I growing up. They just loved him. Like many families, we had had pizza on Friday nights, but my dad took it to a whole nother level. We are Italian, so, food is love. And my dad knew what pizza he wanted, Lou Malnati's. I'm not sure exactly when he became obsessed with Lou's. He and Sarah even had their wedding reception there. Looking back, I think he loved the cozy atmosphere, the consistency of the food, the delicious Caesar salad, and a stiff drink. This was back when there were only a couple of locations, and it was really special. When he moved to Lake of the Ozarks, he missed having Lou's. We would send it to him or bring it down when we came to visit, and he would get so excited humming "That's Amore" as he preheated the oven and put olive oil in the pans. I would warn my sons in advance, "Hey guys, you're gonna have to fill up on something else because this is Pop's treat." When I moved him back to Chicago, I knew that we needed a plan for Friday nights, because guess where you cannot get good pizza on a Friday night? The senior living facility. It was freezer burn bad, it was bland tomato sauce bad, it was not gonna happen. And I love pizza too, so I came up with the brilliant idea of taking him on a citywide pizza tour. We could visit all the top pizza places together and decide what we thought. I could post it on my Instagram, we'll take pictures, it'll be fun. He kind of agreed. Vito and Nick's Pizzeria is on the far south side of Chicago. It's on all the top lists. The family who started the restaurant had been in business for many years before they started making pizza. Classic Sicilian style with cracker thin crust, no delivery, cash only, my dad's kind of place. We arrived starving after sitting in rush hour traffic to get there by 6. Did I mention my dad liked to eat at 6? Not 5 to 6, not 10 after 6, 6 o'clock. So we sat down, and luckily they had those fake wood salad bowls with the iceberg lettuce and the creamy Italian dressing and really, really chewy croutons. We ordered a large thin crust, half pepperoni. The restaurant itself reminded me of a 50s diner with Formica tables and a low popcorn ceiling. Neon signs were the only light, and family photos covered the walls. When the waitress came at us with that little metal stand, my mouth was watering because I knew the pizza was on its way. It was very thin and delicious. We ate like hungry teenagers, and I said to my dad, "So what do you think?" And he said, "Well, Christine, it's not Lou's." The following morning at the doctor's office in Chicago, I watched my dad shuffling down the hall after his name was called. His oxygen tank handle tight in his hand, so thin and bent from getting older, and his wrangly of jeans were like hanging off of him. Dad, turn right at the end of the hall so the nurse can take your blood." He looked at me, he turned, and he said, "All of it?" He was funny like that. He had impeccable timing, and he never missed a chance to entertain an audience. Next up on the pizza tour was Gino's East. This one was going to be easy and yummy. I planned to pick my dad up at 5 p.m. in order to get downtown by 6, and yes, we ordered in advance. I got stuck in traffic and was late pulling up to the building. I could see that he was angry. I had texted him to let him know that I was going to be a little late, but that wasn't enough to calm him down. I was trying so hard, and I was really tired. Jesus Christ, where have you been? He didn't yell, he mumbled it under his breath, and that was way worse. Something in his gruff body language and cruel words made me snap. God damn it, Dad, why are you so judgmental? Have I ever not shown up? I'm the one that's showing up. It felt cathartic to have said those words, but I immediately regretted them. He was startled and hurt. Hadn't this whole thing been my idea? We rode in silence down Lakeshore Drive, got on Michigan Avenue, and turned left on Superior. Gino's was founded in 1966 by 2 cab drivers who had been driving up and down Michigan Avenue for years and knew that a pizza place in the neighborhood would be a hit. Sam, a first-generation Italian-American, and George, who was born in Sicily, hired Alice May from another pizza place, and the rest is delicious history. With traditional checkered tablecloths and writing all over the walls, it felt like a dump, but it was warm and crowded, so we sat down and ordered a drink. The pizza came out quickly, the cheese was an inch thick, and the crust was flaky and hot. We ate at relative silence, taking in the different people at tables around us. I took out a Sharpie marker and I asked my dad, what should we write? He looked right at me and he said, it's good, but it's not Lou's. I was crying, laughing as I wrote the review on the wall, and I often wonder if it's still there. God, I miss him. Our codependent life went on like this for a while. Shopping, doctors, New York Giants football, Friday pizza nights that inevitably kept on coming. Jimmy's Pizza is New York style. Thin crust cut into giant triangles that you can fold in half to keep from burning the roof of your mouth. It was snowing hard that night, and back then Jimmy's didn't have much of a restaurant, so I made a game time decision to pick it up on my way home. I arrived at my dad's building and waited for the elevator. Other residents saw me and commented on the pizza box in my hand. Your dad's Frank, right? He gave me some baseball cards for my son. What a sweetheart. Tell him I'll be by tomorrow for some leftovers, unless the Giants lose, and then I'll wait a day. You're right, good idea. Everybody loved him. As we sat in his little apartment eating our pizza, looking out at the falling snow by the lake, I was grateful to have him so close by. Jimmy's Pizza is so good that during COVID they would sell out every single day and were able to make a larger space happen in Lincoln Square. As I was clearing the dishes and tidying up the apartment, I said, Dad, what do you think of Jimmy's? How come Lou's doesn't deliver here? Dad, I've explained this 10 times. You live right in between 2 separate delivery areas and no one wants to come to this building. I didn't tell him it was probably because of the elevators. Christine, that's just horseshit. I didn't know it then, but in less than 3 months, he'd be gone. Lou Malnati got his start in the 1940s working in Chicago's first deep dish pizzeria. He took pizza expertise to Lincolnwood, a northern suburb of Chicago, where he and his wife Jean opened the first Lou Malnati's Pizzeria on St. Patrick's Day in 1971. Lou was known for his fun-loving character as well as making Chicago's best pizza. Loyal patrons lined the streets on opening day for a taste of his delicious deep dish creation. Lou always thought it was funny that an Italian should open a pizzeria in a Jewish neighborhood on an Irish holiday. But that was Lou's style. He loved all types of people, and he didn't care much what people thought. Loving and being loved by a man like my father was a gift and a curse. I've made my peace with his flaws and grown increasingly grateful for his gifts. My sons and I go to Lou's often, and Pop-Up always comes up in the conversation. I know he's right there with us, smiling down at himself and saying, way to go, Christine. Lou's is the best. Thanks.